Very happy to I'm very happy to introduce Annelise today as the speaker, and who would I'm really looking forward to the session, because she specializes in physical and emotional healing, and she uses a combination of yin yoga, essential oils, and NLP metaphor theory. And she is a qualified hatha and yoga teacher, and her students fondly call her the good witch or the mistress of magical potions, as no consult or yoga class is complete without an oil share for her. And she has huge knowledge, depth of knowledge of essential oils and yoga in particular. And she has kind of combined it together, and made into a signature training of aroma yin, where teacher aspirants learn to use the initiative plant healers in their practice. And we are all looking forward to your session, Annelise. And let me just put everyone on mute before I hand over the stage to you. Annelise, the stage is all yours. Please carry on.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me switch to gallery view so I can see as many cameras on as I can possibly see. It would be so lovely to have your cameras on then. And of course, my eye contact will go everywhere because I'm going to juggle between presentation and also, looking at all of you. Thank you. So in celebration and continuation of celebration of Yoga International Day, I thought I would pick, the topic of the chakras. So the 7 main, energy centers in the yoga practice. And I know many of you might already know about the chakras, and I know doTERRA has a lot of, material on the chakras as well when you look at all of the other, resources that we can tap into. The intention of me sharing this is because this is what I teach. This is what I share in my yoga classes. And I'm going to share with you what I know, what I've discovered. And then there is just going to be so much more we can talk about. But in 45 minutes, just what, the most important things that I can share with you. I know that Shobhan Naraini will be manning the chat. So I'll keep some time for the end of our session to address the questions that, you might have. So keep the questions coming. I might not see them because, again, I'm not really good at multitasking, especially with the tech being quite challenging, to manage. So without any further delay, here we go. And I can see some of you on my screen, and I will perhaps be making eye contact towards my right. So that's where you all are for me. Now, today's presentation, again, is going to be extremely, it's for you. It's for you to also take this time out to make a note for yourself. And I've got a couple of resources that you can also do some weekend homework with. But I love to call this like the 7 steps to healing. And we're not just talking physical healing, but like what brought me to the oils? How did the oils find me? How did doTERRA happen? So, every birthday, I give myself one, new course or something special for me to learn. And then that birthday in 2015, I signed up for a soap making class. And she was using these essential oils. And this was the first time I actually came up close and personal with the non-fragrant oils, because otherwise in the spas, they would be the ones in the diffuser. And that grapefruit just got me. So I decided I had to, buy my stash of oils. This was from a place in India that we had access to, and that the teacher said was, good quality oils. And I began to use them. I started making soaps, but I also realized that essential oils didn't last as long in the soap. So I felt, what else can I do with these? Because as I read, as I studied about them, I realized that they have these beautiful healing power. And so I really wanted to tap into them. And I started to make potions instead. little aloe-based potions, essential oil mixes for different people, taking their requirements, trying to figure out what I could do for them, learning on the go. And in one of the soap making groups, I chanced upon this beautiful lady called Elizabeth Ashley. And she, since then to now, has been my mentor, my teacher of essential oils. And I created this Excel sheet and, a couple of things like, okay, what are the oils for each of the chakras? What are the oils for each of the emotions, etc., etc. And then one day, and this was still just a project, a little hobby, something that I was like passion project. One day a friend mailed me and she said, would you make, a hamper for a friend? And I said, okay, tell me about your friend. And she said that the girl had rheumatoid arthritis. And I said, tell me more. And it turned out that she had also had a horrible shock at a very young age. And she had lost someone really, really close to her. So I made all of those notes and, sat with my Excel. And the first thing when I typed and I said, rheumatoid arthritis, Angelica was one of the suggestions that came up. And I was so gobsmacked because in my notes, Angelica was one of the oils that shows up for understanding death. I realized I was onto something much, much deeper. It wasn't just a fun project anymore. It was serious, intuitive healing modalities. And, I realized then that a friend gifted me, a couple of doTERRA oils. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to get my hands on this? Till one day again, I saw Suzanne's advertisement on Facebook. And I said, okay, the universe really has my back. The universe had my back. And 3 years down, these are the oils that I talk about. These are the oils that I share, because there's just so much to, our doTERRA oils, as many of you already know. So let me start with, the backdrop against which we're going to be applying the oils, which is, of course, the chakras. So what are these chakras? There are many, but we're looking at 7 main energy centers. These are like gateways. And they run up from the very base of the pelvic floor up to the crown of your head. So these energy centers have, again, they're not just for physical, healing. There's also the emotional layers. There's also the spiritual layer. There's the mental layer. And each of these chakras, each of these energy, gateways feed one into the other. So if one of your chakras is blocked, it, of course, is stopping the energy from flowing to the other. There could also be an excess of energy in a chakra. There could be a deficiency of energy in a chakra. So when you're using, chakra meditations, or you're using your yoga practice, one of the intentions is, of course, to balance the energies through these centers. So that is like crash course in the 7 chakras, or what are these chakras. I'm not going to get into details of the colors or the mantras or anything. I'm just focusing purely on these 4 levels on which we want to address, the balance or the healing using essential oils. So what is an essential oil? These are natural, absolutely natural, plant-based extracts. So these are aromatic compounds. They're volatile. That means that they can, immediately evaporate. And say you've got something like I've got my oils now in my diffuser. You step out towards the door and you can smell it there because they're so volatile. So they are really, really small nanoparticles of plant material, extracted by different methods, primarily steam distillation or cold press extraction. Now, why are they beneficial? How do they work? Why are they better than maybe using something else? Because of their small size and because of the way that they can interact with the cell wall, right? They can really get into the cellular, literally into the cellular level, and bring about the balance of what the cell needs. right? So what the essential oil does is what it's doing for the plant, it's doing for us in our bodies. It's literally like the blood plasma of the plant, and it's carrying oxygen, oxygen to the cells to create that healing that the body needs. Right? Why is it effective? Because it's way more potent than just the herb. Like take peppermint, for example. You would have to have 28 cups of peppermint tea, which 1 drop of peppermint oil would do. So that's the potency of an essential oil. So yes, I can still cook with my regular herbs, but then what makes doTERRA very different is the fact that our purity levels allow for many of our oils to be taken internally. So you can replace your herbs with the essential oil in your kitchen cabinet as well. I'm coming to that in a bit. But looking at how effective and how pure and how natural essential oils are. Now, just another, slide for us to understand a little bit of the science. And remember, this is a 45-minute crash course. So how fast do these essential oils work? The first way in which the essential oil affects the body is just through the nasal passage. So the minute you inhale an essential oil, right, in 22 seconds, it hits the limbic brain. And it's there, it's going into your memory center, your emotional center. And after that, in about 2 minutes, it's in the bloodstream. And in 20, I've got a little bit of animation here for you. In 20 minutes, it's in every single cell in the body. Because of its size, it's able to, get through the blood-brain barrier where some medication isn't able to get. So that is, again, how essential oils work. So when you use an essential oil, I would say the first, way of defense is to sniff it. And then, of course, I'll show you how to use it in other places too. The other interesting piece about the chakras is that they also, tie in with the endocrine glands in the body. So if you see this drawing that I have right now, it's to show you that the chakras tally with each of our endocrine glands. So you're looking at the physical, as I said, but you're also looking at emotional, mental, and spiritual needs for each of these energy centers. Yeah. Why essential oils versus, the modern approach is because we're addressing literally the root cause. We're going at the cellular level for this kind of support that your body, your mind, your spirit needs. And each of these essential oils has a mix of different chemical components. So one oil can actually do different things. And so let's take lavender, for example. Almost everybody knows, when you're feeling anxious, that's the lavender. You want to have lavender. When you're unable to sleep, let's slap some lavender on. But, does anyone think about lavender when you perhaps have a muscle ache? Or a bit of a, I don't know if this is being compliant, yes, a pain somewhere. You can put a little bit of lavender there. And someone's saying, but I thought it was for sleep. Yes, for sleep too. But it's also to be able to help you with this kind of discomfort, because it has these different chemical components that do these things in the body, right? So when you're looking at doTERRA specifically, as I said, what sets us apart is our purity level. The purest oils you can get your hands on. And not just because we say it, but because we've got third-party testing. I think about 65, if I'm not wrong, right? 65 different third-party tests to ensure that the quality of our oils matches what we say, and we've actually set those industry standards because we have the CPTG, which stands for, of course, your Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade. Now, another thing about our essential oils is that you're looking to source the oils from the place, from a region where the oil has the best array, if I can call it that, of the chemical component that makes up a good quality oil. So let's say you take lavender again. We source our oils where the lavender has the the best percentages of its chemical component because it grows in a certain climate that facilitates that or supports that. You know, the soil supports that. They ensure that, again, there are no pesticides, no fillers, nothing that can contaminate our oils. Which is why when you look at a lot of the doTERRA suggestions on our website, right, you'll see that some of our oils can be used neat because we trust its purity. There are hot oils, of course, that I will come to that you can't use on the body neat. You will need to dilute it, but there are many of our oils that can be used neat. Many of our oils can also be ingested because, again, of our quality and our standards. Yeah. Let me know if I'm going too fast. Just kind of wave and I'll slow down a bit. So how do you use these beautiful oils? There are three main ways. You've already heard me talk about the aromatic, just taking a whiff from your bottle. So let's say you have, your bottle of oil, you turn it over on the cap if you like, and take a whiff directly from the bottle. And that's the first way in which it can really, get into the system. The other way is through a diffuser like so. Again, we've got these beautiful diffusers that have also come to India. So it's a beautiful way to be able to work with the essential oil in the atmosphere, in the space that you're in. And it also has, the benefits of the people in the space with you. Topically is what, you're using the oil on parts of the body. You want to put it where, the fat is, because that again is going to help absorb a lot of the oil. Bottoms of your feet, pulse points, behind the ears. So these are certain places that you can use essential oils to again get into the system faster. And of course, internally, either in your water or in a veggie capsule. We don't have that in India yet. Or just a drop of some of the oils directly under your tongue. So three ways in which to use these oils. Now, this is where we get to really do some personal, mapping for yourself. So I have created a PDF for you too, which I will attach at the end of today's class. And in the PDF, you'll see that there is this website link that allows you to do a little chakra test. So if you like, it's like one of those Cosmo quizzes, but a little more scientific. So you take your test and you realize which of your chakras are out of balance and where you need the work. But for now, just based on what you feel and what you've been working, on or dealing with, take a couple of seconds or minutes to write down your top 3 health priorities. I'll just give you a couple of minutes to do this. And this is just for you. You won't need to share this with me. You won't be needing to put it in the chat. What are your top 3 health priorities? Why are they your priorities? Remember, at doTERRA, our intention is to heal one drop, one person at a time. It could be a physical issue that you're dealing with. It could be an emotional one. It could be a relational issue. It could be a financial struggle. What are your top 3 priorities that you want to focus on? Be very, very honest with yourself. Why is this a priority? Get as specific as you can. Is it your digestive system? In the digestive system, do you tend to have more, issues with constipation? Be as specific as you can, because that's when the real, work can start. Emotionally, maybe are you dealing with bouts of anger? Or is it more frustration? Is your mind all over the place? Are you feeling like you've got wheels on your feet and you just cannot catch your breath? Okay. And also write down the whys, okay? Give me a thumbs up if you all are ready to move on. Thanks, Lee. So here we go. Now, as we go through the presentation, I'm going to show you, some research on each of the chakras, and then also some of my oil recommendations based on the oils we have in the India market. Right? So there might be other oils, and if you look at websites, if you look at books, there will be so many other oils, and many of these oils are also interchangeable chakra-wise. But I'll give you my rationale for this set of oils that I have picked. So again, keep the sheet of paper handy so you can keep mapping your needs to the oils that I suggest. So here's our first chakra. It's the root chakra. It's all about self-preservation. It's about self-survival. And in India, we call it the roti kapda makan, food, shelter, clothing. So you really want to look at feeling more secure. That's the sense of a balanced root chakra. When you trust in the abundance and you're content. That's a balanced root chakra. And many of us, are struggling with, finances. We're struggling with, the kind of work we want to do. And if you look at any kind of lower body physical issue, anything from the lower back down, you might want to look at your root chakra balance. So some of the issues could be, sciatica, it could be varicose veins, it could be hemorrhoids, it could be muscular issues in your knees, your feet, your lower back. So when that is, when these kind of things present themselves, then in yoga, we tend to look at just working with our root chakra through our practice. What would I do when I'm looking at it from the essential oil perspective? I pick two specific oils for this, one being geranium and the other being vetiver. These are like the two best oils that you can use for root chakra balancing. I use them together, in fact. So I make myself a little portion. I maybe 20 ml of aloe. I love to use the aloe, or I use fractionated coconut oil. So I have about 20 ml of that. And I put 4 drops each of the vetiver and the geranium. So for me, less is always more. I know, we can use a lot more oil. I like to kind of just err on the side of, whatever that word is. I use much less than one needs to. So the geranium has multiple other benefits. I know we talk about it from, it being able to balance the hormones, it's able to, to work with your circulation. But the interesting thing about geranium is that it stands in the gap of financial worry and abundance at a very subtle, spiritual, emotional level. So, when you look at, and again, so this I've got from Elizabeth's, material, but if you look at our very own Essential Emotions book, let me show you that book. There is an app for this as well. This is, our doTERRA oils, and it's amazing when you open this book. And I know, Becky and some of the team have actually been doing this training and are coaches of the Essential Emotions. Amazing material here about how each of these oils can support you at those levels. Where the pain or where the discomfort manifests in the body, what's it feeling like? What is the language that you associate with it? And what oils do you want to use to support yourself? So geranium stands in the gap for financial fears and worries, a typical root chakra issue. Vetiver, again, extremely great to ground you. And so that would be the one thing I would look at, apart from, of course, its support in muscular, issues. I would say this is the oil that grounds you. Because when you're all over the place and you're worrying about this, that, and the other, vetiver is the one we want. So this was your root chakra, self-survival. The sacral chakra is your second chakra. So the root chakra is in the perineum, in the area of the pelvic floor. Your sacral chakra is in the lower abdomen. It's just below the navel. Now, this is all about self-gratification. These are about the stuff that really makes you feel good, all the pleasures of life. And it's your reproductive system. So your reproductive hormones are in this part of the body, controlled by the sacral chakra. So when you do have issues with your hormones, with your reproductive system, then this is an area you want to look at. Interestingly, again, another very good resource is this book by Annelise Piers. It's Eastern Body, Western Mind. She writes a lot of books on chakras, but this is a really good one for the really nerdy kind of people like me who want to know the psychology behind the chakras as well. So this is a really good resource. And when you look at the sacral chakra, it's all about boundaries, because your sacral chakra develops by the age of 2. So when the child's like trying to get away from the mother to explore life, stand on her own 2 feet, it's all about how were your boundaries, set at that age. And if you aren't able to have healthy boundaries or weren't able to have healthy boundaries, then you might see this present itself as a very, addictive personality, codependencies. These are your sacral chakra issues. So when you're balanced in the sacral chakra, it's all about just letting go, just surrendering. Very close to the trust and the abundance and the contentment of the root chakra, but this one is doing the work, letting go. Building your own space. It's also, it has a lot to do with your creativity, the sacral chakra. So it ties in a lot with purpose as well. What are you wanting to? So it's not just reproduction by way of birthing, human beings. It's also about birthing purpose, birthing an idea, living your purpose in life. What are my recommended oils? I've actually picked 2 of our blends. I picked Clary Calm, again, because of, and as you gentlemen know, and for those of you who have, the first time on our class tonight, Clary Calm is not just for the women. It's also for the men, because it can help balance out, all of the hormones in our bodies, all of the hormones in our body. Right? So I love this one because it also has something that's very, very special. And I don't know if anyone has, talked about this before, but if you see Vitex leaf, it's chasteberry, and chasteberry is a very difficult oil to find, at least in India, because when you're looking at hormonal balance, the oil you really want for menopausal women is chasteberry over clary sage. And the fact that Clary Calm has both just shows me that doTERRA knows what they're doing. So Vitex berry, I was so happy to see Vitex and chasteberry, or chasteberry, that's they're known by either of those names, in our Clary Calm oil. So this is definitely one that I would use, to balance out my sacral chakra. I haven't created a separate slide for ylang-ylang because it's already here. But ylang-ylang, if you're looking for just this one single oil, ylang-ylang would be the oil to use for balancing your sacral chakra also. But you only need 1 drop or half a drop if you can, because it's a really, really sweet and strong oil. The other oil, which I'm so excited is in India, is Whisper. Like, what did we do before Whisper came to India? It's such a beautiful oil. Right? So the ylang-ylang is here. And what Whisper does is it also kind of just smells different on different people. So that's again, it's creation, it's sacral chakra, it's you. It's all about like what makes you special. So Whisper would be a lovely oil to keep in your armory. Maybe gift your girlfriend, that special someone in your life. and all of the lovely florals and the sweet. So clary calm would be more to soothe those monthly, ups and downs that you might have. Whisper I would use as an everyday kind of perfume, even just to make me feel really beautiful, really feminine. So keep going back to your first sheet. What were the top 3 health priorities? Are you kind of getting some ideas of what more you might be wanting to look at, certain areas? I know we're early still, we've got 5 more chakras to go. But so far we've done the root and the sacral. In the solar plexus, your solar plexus chakra, your Manipura chakra, it's called the Palace of Jewels. And this is about self-definition. And I know, Becky has taught us so much about how health begins in the gut. This is your Manipura chakra. This is your gut. This is the seat of your ego. So when you're struggling with issues of digestive discomforts, when you're dealing with issues of anger and you're torn between, say, a belief that you have or a value system that someone's not matching, you want to be looking at, again, this chakra. Is your sense of identity being challenged? Or has it shifted and are you thrown? Like, say, for example, say someone loses, their job. Were they that job? Were they that, that person? Maybe a teacher retires from teaching. Is she no longer, how does she deal with no longer being a teacher? Is she someone else? Isn't she a lot of other things? You're not just a mother, you're not just a wife, you're not just a sister. So looking at identity is where we work with in the Manipura or the solar plexus chakra. Looking at your ego over here, you're looking at belief systems and your values. So, I have again picked our digestive blends because I think it's got everything. You don't need to be running around trying to find individual oils to soothe your digestive system when doTERRA has already done that. Strategically put these oils together in a blend. But before I move slides, I know I can see some of you still wanting to just kind of look at the issues of an imbalanced solar plexus chakra. So I would, no brainer, digest Zen all the way. Never stay home without it. Never leave home without it. Travel with your digest Zen. Make it a habit. I remember, I think it was Matt Suzanne, right, who said you take it as a habit, and then you're creating a whole new environment in the gut. And Becky has reinforced that. And I know we've done WhatsApp groups with groups of people with 30-day digestive health challenges. And that's the way to go. Start at the Manipura chakra because it's literally standing in the gap between the higher and the lower chakras. So you want to be working with your gut. The other one is one of our latest launches, which is juniper berry. I remember when we were getting our oils from the US, this was one of the ones I had to have, and I was almost out. And it's been launched this month in India. So juniper berry, I've picked this for our solar plexus chakra, but again, it has so many beautiful benefits also for your root chakra because it supports, again, kidney function. Okay? You're looking at using juniper berry to flush out anything that's like stuck in the system. It could be fluid, it could be uric acid, crystals. It's a beautiful cleansing oil. And if you look at it also, again, I teach yin yoga, as Shubh said, and we look at different organ systems and again, just how maybe it affects even your sleep. So I remember Suzanne teaching us one day about juniper berry for nightmares to use that with Roman chamomile. And it's amazing how the systems all kind of make sense now that I have a bigger picture. Because when you're up at night, when you've suddenly woken up in the middle of the night, chances are you could have a congestion in your liver and your gallbladder. So again, amazing how these oils just know what to do. And I would suggest you kind of go back, some of these things I've shared with you, go back, look at the app, look at the doTERRA website, explore the oils more in detail, and find the one that really calls to you. Because lavender might not be your sleep oil. It might be neroli. It might be, frankincense. So find the oil that really fits your needs, your cellular makeup, your personality makeup, your gaps, your deficiencies, or your excesses. But these are recommendations. So see if these work for you first. This one, Zendocrine. Again, so I've picked 3 for our digestive, for our gut health. So again, Zendocrine would be, if you look at again our website, it suggests you take it for about 10 days to ready the system before you take a longer, program to clear out your gut. So I know we've not got the whole probiotic system in India yet, but this is a great place to start. So reach out to whoever invited you, onto this class tonight. If you aren't already a part of doTERRA, reach out to, these people who've invited you and say, okay, help me. Tell me where I can learn more. Every Thursday we're here. Every Thursday there's a class, but there might be something more detailed you need. You might need a wellness consult, something specific just for you. So talk to the person who called you here tonight. The heart chakra. The heart chakra is all about self-acceptance. I mean, we talk about it being love, but what about turning that inside? What about turning that in on yourself? It's about compassion. And, in our hearts, we're looking at this whole area. We're looking at issues with, your respiration. You're looking at issues even in the shoulders. You're looking at the grief, sadness, circulatory system, of course, immune system. And this was one more reason why I came into essential oils. So in 2015, when I started to dabble with it, in 2016, I lost my dad and my dog within months of each other. And nothing can bring them back. But the pain in the heart, like the anxiousness, the angst in the heart, kind of just said, you know what, physician, heal thyself. I opened up my essential oil box and I picked rose and mandarin. And those were the 2 oils that until today I have them on my yoga blocks because it just soothes my heart. And it's kind of anchored me into, a good anchor into remembering Dad and Duke. But for today, because we don't have rose in the India market, I've kept it to wild orange. But if you have a rose from the US or whoever else in doTERRA that you've been able to source the rose, that combination would just do it. I make a lot of these bottles for people who have lost loved ones. I'm part of a grief community for dog owners. So they get bottles of rose and mandarin. Mandarin, of course, being our wild orange. Beautiful. Great to open up the lungs, because remember, when you're dealing with grief and sadness, you feel it in the heart, but it's also affecting the lungs. So wild orange can open up the respiratory passages as well. I've also picked breathe to do what it does with the respiratory system. Open it out to really be able to, even if you look at each of these, oils that are in the breathe blend, there's this amazing one that we call whole leaf, right? It's, where is it? I thought it had Ravinsara, but it is Ravinsara. I thought we had Ravinsara, which was whole leaf. Anyway, I'll come back and talk about that. But again, when you're looking at the respiratory system, you're looking at boundaries. Again, you're looking at how much are you, opening yourself up to life, or are you closed in? So when you're talking about boundaries, we're not talking about just putting up these boundaries, but we're saying that maybe you need to take down a wall or 2, or maybe you need to build a healthy boundary. Because in yin yoga, the heart and the lungs The meridians are in the hands. So I know we're talking about chakras, but we also talk about these nadis that work through the hands, and this is where you give and receive love. So it's about the lungs and the heart. So these are my two choices for the heart chakra. Throat, of course, being your self-expression. A lot of people know it more from just balancing out your thyroid, your metabolism. So, you're looking at it from the physical, of course, you're looking at it from the other aspects of the of your development. This is about self-expression. This is about being able to actually speak your mind, have those conversations. Maybe you're needing to have a conversation to make things right. Maybe you have to have a conversation to build somebody up. Maybe you're nervous. Maybe you're not able to, say what's really eating you. So for the throat chakra, I've picked two really very, very beautiful oils. One for its physical benefits, because lemongrass is excellent for your thyroid and thyme as well. But also from the fact that these are two oils that help you move past limiting beliefs, move past the mistakes, start afresh. Cleansing oils. And Desiree Delaunay, she's again one of our doTERRA wellness advocates, has a beautiful book on the elements of emotion. And she was talking about how typically you would clear your spaces with sage, because sage, the smoke is a lot more, it's more young, right? And it gets into these porous walls and kind of cleanses all of the thoughts and all of those things you've been saying out loud or not saying out loud that actually gets stuck to our walls. You've heard the phrase, right? The walls have ears. So when you're in your spaces, like I'm healing and I'm doing yoga every day with people, there's a lot of energy that I absorb. You step out of this room, you've got people in your home you're living with, you've got the neighbors, you've got life around you. So these walls hold on to all of those things that you've been saying. Sometimes it's those negative things that you're saying to yourself. So you want to be able to cleanse your walls, and lemongrass does that if you don't have a sage stick. So the oil is more yin because it's more dense. So you might need to burn it for light it rather, diffuse it for a much longer time. Sage, you kind of go around the perimeters of your room and kind of smoke things out. But for lemongrass, I would use my diffuser in different spaces for about 8 hours. So these are really good oils for your throat chakra. How many oils do you already have? How many do you need to get this month if you haven't already done your LRP? Tomorrow is your last day. So, it might be a good idea to pick the ones that you feel will really help you this month. The third eye is, of course, your center of intuition. And there is no better oil than jasmine. Nothing better than jasmine. It vibrates at a really high frequency. It can really tap. Incidentally, lemon can do that too. Tap into, like a divine wisdom. But we don't have jasmine in India. So I've picked another 2 oils for you. So interestingly, look here. It says, if your third eye is out of balance, your Agnya chakra, we call it, there is a tendency to be more slothful. Right? But look at the oil I've picked here. I've picked lavender, and you might think, oh, that's going to make me even more lazy. It's actually going to keep you much calmer, clear some kind of fogginess that might be there. Sometimes people are slothful because they're afraid, and it just helps to not do anything versus do. So again, lavender can ease the tension, can ease the worry, can help you rest and then be able to gather up all of that, that clarity, like clear the smoke, clear the fog. So I've picked lavender for the third eye. I make a combination of lavender and jasmine just to be able to apply a little bit Oh, by the way, when you apply these, yes, on the chakras, on the areas, so if I was working on my solar plexus, I would put my portion, my blend here. I would put it on my heart. Of course, I would also sniff it. We also digest and internally. So, I'm sorry, I didn't remember to tell you about all of that, but it's in the PDF. So if you see here, there is a legend on the slides. A being aromatic, of course, T topical, I internal. Roman chamomile. This is again a beautiful oil and remember, these oils are available in the India market. Roman chamomile, just check this out. This is the one that tells you, hey, you know what? You can do it. You're here to do something. It's your soul's work. Quit doubting yourself. Quit doubting yourself. On the physical level, it's a beautiful oil for anything inflammatory. And so you really want to keep the Roman chamomile out if there's that whole, inflammation in the body. But I really wanted to focus on the emotional aspect of this oil because it is so powerful. And as you can see, this has come from the Essential Emotions book. Last but not the least, it's the crown chakra, self-realization. It's literally like breaking open the head. It's about oneness. We talk about bliss in yoga. We talk about connecting with spirit, with Atman. When you're looking at balancing out the crown chakra, you're also looking at your pituitary gland, you're looking at your pineal gland, your issues with sleep. The pituitary gland manages all of the hormonal glands in the body. It's the master hormone. And when it's out of balance, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to do everything on my own. But when you're in balance, you realize that we are all, I know it sounds woo-woo. A lot of yoga teachers say things that sound so woo-woo. We are, in fact, all one. If we just saw things that way, I'm not perfect. I still get mad several times a day, but the oils help. So which oil would you use? This is the one. This is the one. Please, if you want to buy any oil, this is the one oil to buy. And in the India market, we have a 5 ml bottle, so it's a lot less prohibitive price-wise. And each 5 ml bottle has about 83 drops. So, a drop a day, you've got frankincense keeping you going for at least 83 days. And I know, sometimes I've counted and I realized that doTERRA does put a lot more oils in the bottle than we think there are. So there's always a lot more there. So when in doubt, bring your frankincense out. Again, the high vibrational, quality of this essential oil. In fact, essential oils are the highest vibrating material known to man. So they raise your body's vibrations, and that's again another way they work on the cellular level and with the energetics of these chakras. But here's another one that is now in India, the sandalwood. Why did I pick this? Because there is a very interesting aspect to sandalwood. Apart from all of its, beautifying properties, it's great for the skin, it's beautiful for meditation, all of those things that you can see here. But there's one more thing that, there was this lovely series of videos that Elizabeth is doing with Adam, who's also one of our doTERRA wellness advocates based out of Australia. They talked about sandalwood, and they said, like, if you look at the tree, right? So a lot of the way the oil behaves is also what you can see the plant do in its natural habitat. So when you look at sandalwood, its roots move out to literally, catch or to feed off the other plants. So it wants to take its nitrogen from another plant around it. So it's almost kind of, parasitic. But we're not saying like wear sandalwood and go out and be parasitic. We're saying this helps in connection. This helps if you tend to be more closed in, very introverted, or just not wanting to be out, with people anymore. You don't want to be part of community anymore. Sandalwood is your oil. It will help you pluck up courage to even like step out and have a conversation with somebody. So you're literally using sandalwood to be able to spread your roots out a little bit. There is an actual receptor in the brain that even has the shape of the receptor has the shape of the sandalwood tree. It's so fascinating. So if you want to go and visit that conversation, look up Elizabeth Ashley and Adam Barnett. We've got this beautiful class on sandalwood. This is our yoga collection that we launched this month, in honor of International Yoga Day. And what I love about it is they've picked the oils that can do 3, and I know you had a class on this earlier in the month. They picked Citrus Bliss, Adaptive, and Balance. Now, I'm not going into detail as to which of these chakras each of these oils will support, but if you look at Citrus Bliss, you can see that it's the uplifting oil. So it's going to be more heart and lung, right? So it's going to be more heart chakra and also going to be able to clear the head. So I would see it also working in the third eye area. So use it at the start of a yoga practice to kind of wake you up, especially if it's going to be a power kind of practice, Ashtanga yoga practice. The one that so adaptive is also, going to keep you, uplifted, but in a very soothing manner. So it might be nice for during your practice. If you're not doing a very high intensity practice, adaptive would be a good one to use. And I see kind of balancing out more of the middle chakras. Balance, I would look for either my crown chakra or my root chakra, because it's got more of a grounding quality to it. So even though you're looking at the crown chakra being like a breaking open of the head, it's also one where you want to feel that tranquility and that meditative kind of value. So I would use balance for that. We've also got a 200, PV promotion where you have the wild orange in place of the Citrus Bliss and the adaptive roll-on instead. So this also might be something you could look at. You're going to get these for free, absolutely for free. This is our, the incentive kit that came up from the Nepal trip, and these are the oils that we featured in today's chakra lineup. So you've got the juniper berry, you've got sandalwood, you've got geranium, vetiver, and thyme. So you've got a lot of your chakras taken care of here already. You've got your root chakra. You can make a blend with your vetiver and your geranium. Your thyme for your thyroid, juniper berry for your solar plexus, sandalwood, of course, for the crown chakra. Fennel is also at 10% off, so it's going to be really good for your digestive system if this is an oil you'd rather start with. So how do you get your hands on these beautiful oils? One is, of course, you can buy them retail from whomever has invited you to come here tonight. But then, we don't let our friends spend 25% more on their oils when they can get it, on their own membership. So, you get your own membership for free in India, and you get the oils at 25% less. You also have the option of signing up for the loyalty rewards program. And, I'm not going to go into detail on the loyalty rewards program here, but just to tell you that the more loyal you are and the longer you stay on the program, you get up to 30% off on your oils. Add that to the already 25% discounted oil, and you're getting essential oils for 55% less. Now, that is a steal. And, this is just the beginning of how generous doTERRA really is. So to get started, reach out to whoever invited you. They'll need this information from you, or they'll help you sign up, on the website directly, and you feed in the various options that you need. So we have a couple of minutes, just a few minutes, right, Shubh? To answer any questions.
Yes, we have a few minutes, and it was such a wonderful presentation, Annelise. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I think we can take a couple of questions at least. So if you can raise your hand, if you have a question, I can unmute you and then we can go from there.
Thanks, Becky. Sharing the chakra link is excellent. I'm just going to attach that PDF here for you all.